Good morning, Michelle. I think the couple people that dropped by today are probably going to have questions about the syllabus changes, schedule for the couple weeks coming up, or the exam. Um, those things I'm going to hold off talking about for a few minutes until whoever might trickles in the next 3 or 4 minutes. But if you have any specific questions about that, just write them into chat, and I'll start with your question. But if you have any questions about anything else, we can chat about them right now. Good morning, Carmen. Uh, I'm going to wait a couple minutes for some more people to trickle in, whoever might be joining. I imagine most of the questions today are going to be about the exam, the syllabus changes, or the schedule updates. I'm only going to make sure I talk about the syllabus updates today, and then whatever questions that we have. But I'm going to wait a couple more minutes before I talk about that. But it'll be 5 minutes that I'm talking about that, and then it's just whatever questions everyone has. So we have 5 in here right now. I'm going to wait another 2 minutes, and then I'm going to talk about the schedule, and then whatever questions you guys have, whether it's schedule, a specific assignment, the exam that's due on Friday. Talk about any of those if you want. If you have those questions and you want to type them into chat for right now, I'll start with your questions. But as far as talking about the syllabus schedule, I want to wait one more minute. Sounds good. How are you? Burgess Productions, that's Michael, correct? Thought so. I think I can start getting started chatting about the schedule. It's the only thing I know I want to talk about today because the syllabus is now up to date for everyone for online. Anything else, if you have questions, we'll chat about them. Just let me know, type them into chat, or you can email me about them. But I know I want to talk about schedule. Before I mention the schedule, if you have questions about the exam or specific assignments, let me know in chat. You can email me about them. Exams due tomorrow, end of day. The one reminder that I've been saying every time with these live streams is I don't anticipate a curve, maybe a 2 point curve, but I don't anticipate any kind of a curve that's at all like the first exam because it's a take home exam. Since you have the exam booklet and your textbook and PowerPoints in front of you, I expect that that's going to probably mean that the scores will be higher. I'll still put them through my program to see what comes about. I think there could be a question that ends up getting thrown out that might end up, that's funny, that there could be a question that ends up getting thrown out of calculation, but I wouldn't anticipate a curve that's specifically based off of not performing too well. So make sure you take it seriously, use your book, use your PowerPoint, work on it, and do well on it. As far as the syllabus, that's the one thing I know I want to talk to you all about. So I have up to date the syllabus, and I also recorded a couple of videos yesterday. Those are going to start getting posted later on today. Uh, some of them are just the 10-minute video lectures, but one of them is going to specifically be about the changes to our article group discussion since we are online the rest of the semester. If anyone isn't aware, the announcement did come. I want to say it might have been early this week, but I think it was the end of the week last week that we'll be online for the rest of the semester. So now I'm able to get all that information up to you. We don't have to go week by week anymore, which makes me very happy because then at least you can read ahead. And if you have questions about it, hopefully that can alleviate a little bit of anxiety that you might have about what is going to come, how is this going to look online, so on and so forth. If you look at the syllabus, and you don't have to load it up right now if you don't want to, but if you have it up there, you might as well take a look with me. I color coded the changes. Things that you see highlighted in red are things that are no longer the case, and things in blue are what we're now going to do. I might have missed a place as I scrolled through because I did do it pretty quickly. So I might have missed something that changed somewhere in the middle or something like that. But the assignment specifically, the grading schedule and the course schedule should now be up to date. So looking on page 8 right now of the syllabus, you have your change schedule that's in blue. And that's what we're going to be doing every week for the rest of the semester. Some of that are things we've already done. As we look right now, we're in the 3rd week of the changes. And then you can see, so exam 2, then we're going to do memory, then we're going to do those group discussions on our article assignments. We're going to spend a week doing all of them. My classes have 2 left. One of my classes had 3 left. All of those group discussions that remain are going to happen that week. So there'll be 2 running for 2 of my classes. And for the one class, there'll be memory, social, and development still needs to go. Then we'll do personality, psychological disorders in exam 3, and then your paper and your posters will be due at the very end of the semester. Every week we'll have something due. There'll be something graded every single week. With the exception of the papers and the posters, every week we'll have one thing that's graded. The one thing that's graded for the group discussions for the article will involve you posting on 2 different discussion boards, though, but it'll be a discussion that is due. The group discussion on the article, I have a video that I'm posting later today. Watch the video. It'll answer those questions. I can take any of those questions while we're in the chat. If you do have those questions, we can talk about them. But the video will specifically go over that, and I think that's going to be something that you'll probably end up wanting to refer the people in your group if you still need to present to as well. If you look at the grading, the assignments that we have, the grade weights, I did make some small changes, nothing too big, but I did make some small changes to that. So now you see the exams are still worth 45%. We now have our group discussion assignment that's going to be 10% of the grade. Our participation grade is going to go down from 10% to 5%, simply because we're in the classroom for half the semester. And for everything online, for online participation, there's always a grade attached to it. So I don't want to grade you twice for the same assignment in essence. So for the online part, I'm not going to end up grading you on participation. So that means that I will get your participation grades up before the end of the semester, since I'm only grading you on the in the class stuff. But to be honest, right now I'm more concerned with getting everything content for you online. So that's not going to happen probably for another week. Towards the end of next week, I'll get those participation grades up for you. But I'm not going to rush into doing that because I have a lot of information I want to get up for you all as well. I want everyone to have the entirety of the semester available by the end of next week. So you could look even at the last week if you wanted to. That you could look at the last week of the whole semester if you wanted to and see that information. Our common research assignment, the poster's now going to be worth 5% instead of 10%. I'm going to do it online. I'm going to give you the option to do it 2 different ways. You can pick which one that you want to do it as. You can either you can submit it that it is just a actual, just like you normally would as the trifold poster board. You could do it on poster board, take pictures of that poster board and post it on the discussion board. Or B, and I think this is going to be the option that most of you will end up taking advantage of, but this also tests if you can use a piece of technology, an actual program. So for those who can't, just do the actual poster board, take pictures, post it. But for those who can, I'm going to allow you guys to create your poster using Prezi. I'm going to require that it's Prezi and not PowerPoint or Google presentation, because it's designed for something like this. It's more interactive, that it's going to work a lot better for this. It's also very easy to use Prezi. If you've ever used PowerPoint, Prezi is actually a little easier to use. If you wanted to put a video, it's basically drag and drop into Prezi. The Prezi will require that you create an account, but the account is free that you need to create. Don't create the account that costs money. There's no need for you to do that. If you're good with using technology, PowerPoint, things like that, Prezi will be easier. Then you're going to create it and you're just posting a link to your completed Prezi, and we would copy and paste that link into our browser, and it's interactive that we just kind of click through your poster. And in essence, each like bubble on the Prezi would just be a part of your poster board. I'll post another video with more information about that later next week. That's a video I haven't recorded yet, so that'll take a little bit. But I did lower the grade weight of that because the way that we're doing it online, we're taking a little bit of a step to make this work online. So I don't want this to be worth as much of your overall grade. Like I mentioned in class, do you want the poster? It's going to be something that, as long as you take the poster serious, as long as the right content's there, you're going to do well on that. And especially since it's online, I'll make sure that I'm even more open with some of those things. And the last category that you have on the grade weights is now 20% for discussion boards and personality, and the personality assignment. So that's going to be all of our online assignments. Each online assignment that we do for every single week is going to be worth 5% of your grade. So that includes the social psychology discussion board that's already up and graded for you, is 5% of your grade. Sorry, I just got an update that popped up. I will do that later. The one that's going for next week on memory, 5% of your grade. The one for the grouped article discussions, which will be in 2 weeks, is 5% of your grade. Make sure you watch the video, because if you are one of the groups that have to present, you have your 10% for your assignment on your presentation, as well as 5% for the asking questions. Both of them will be that same week for you. So you're going to actually have a 10% assignment and a 5% assignment that same week. But if you've already presented, it's just 5% following the instructions. And then we're going to have our personality assignment. So the personality assignment is the one thing that's different for one of my classes. If you were in my Tuesday, Thursday classes where we were doing the movie poster, you will have the choice between doing the assignment that I post on personality or submitting that movie poster to me. If you're in the Monday class, you have to do the personality assignment. The personality assignment, the 10-minute video on personality is talking a little bit about the assignment and where the assignment is in the PowerPoint. And then I'll have instructions for the actual assignment that's going to go up by the end of next week. Personality isn't for 3 weeks, so that'll get up next week. Same thing for exam grades. Sometime next week, I'm going to do them. I'm going to try to grade one class each day, Monday through Wednesday. So depending on which day I get to your class, it could be middle of the week. And then the personality assignment, if you're doing a poster, you're just going to submit to me the completed poster for the assignment. You're not going to have to submit, do any defense questions or anything like that. So the idea for that, if you've already worked on your movie poster, submit that to me. Because when we left for spring break and this wasn't a thing yet that we were online, a lot of you might have been working on that because it was going to be due very soon. If you hadn't started it by the time that we got to this point that we were online for the semester, then do the personality assignment. Personality assignment will be less work than starting fresh on the movie poster. But if you're already halfway through the movie poster, finish the movie poster. I want to have something in place that you can still use that assignment, so that it's not just completely wasted work. And that's where we're going to have that. And that's your grading structure. And that's what our semester will be for the end of the semester. The only last thing to mention, step 3 and step 4 are going to be due right at the beginning of that final week. So if you wait till last minute for those assignments completely, that's a lot of work. Make sure you're working on your paper a little bit at a time, so that maybe you only have to work on the poster those last couple of days, if that makes sense. That's up to you, but I wouldn't wait till last minute for both of those assignments. Okay, let me jump to the questions that I have in chat, and then if we need to chat a little bit more about schedule and things like that, we will. Research paper in step 2, we have to write a summary of the article. The summary of the article is already past due, Michelle. So if you're talking about the research worksheet, you're way behind for that. You can email me about that. If you're talking about step 3, what you're doing is you're writing a summary of Article 1 and Article 2, and then you're having a section that I'm going to say for right now, I'm going to say compare and contrast, but it's more than that. What you're actually doing is talking about why those two articles are important together, putting them together. So it's more than just comparing and contrasting. It's comparing and contrasting, but also talking about the significance for both of the articles when you look at them together as the question that you were answering from step 1. For exam 2, you email me. I can't access Middlesex websites for Canvas. Let me take a look. I did receive emails from one person. There. Rose, are you Sophia? Okay, then yes, I do have your answers for email. That's totally fine. Carmen, if we did the movie poster, email me about that. I don't see why not. I think that's something that would be very fair to do. But send me an email and we'll figure out some details on that. I haven't actually thought about that as a possibility, so I don't have any specifics to tell you right now, but I think that could definitely work if you wanted to do that. Correct, by end of day. So as long as it is dated before midnight, before it turns into Saturday, then your exam is on time. It can get to me. You could submit it today, or you could submit it at 11:57 tomorrow night, as long as I have it before midnight. If you submit it on Canvas, it's going to be marked when you submit it. If you email me, it's whenever I would receive it. So don't click send on your email at 11:57. I might not get it until 12:10 or something like that. But try to submit it on Canvas. So that's going to, now that we're online for the semester, that's going to make a huge difference. If everyone emails me, it's going to be so difficult for me. If one or two of you have to email me because Canvas wasn't working, that's not a problem. So do you guys have any other questions? Do you have questions, specifics about the exam, specifics about any given week or anything like that, what I did for the syllabus changes? You're going to see a bunch of videos post later today. By the end of today, I want to have everything up for next week for memory. I think there might be one thing that I don't get to until tomorrow. There's one thing that's I still have to do from the beginning. But all the other videos and everything I have for you, so that should all be available by next week. The discussion question technically is already available, but I would wait to see it until I get all the content up there, so I wouldn't worry about it until I link it in the module. There also will be a video with instructions for the online group article discussion that I'm going to post later today. So we still have time. We still have 2 weeks. So I think that'll probably be what we're talking about for the live streams next week, is probably that more than anything. But we can definitely talk about that sooner or later, depending on when you have questions. The updated copy of the syllabus, let me make sure that I erased the other copy of the syllabus. I think it's the only one that I have up now, but I might. Okay, I do have both of the copies of the syllabus up, but if you go into the modules or go onto the homepage, At the end of the syllabus, it says COVID-19 update. So it's in the module for this week with the exam at the bottom of the module. The syllabus is there, as well as if you went to course information, it's there as well. And the one place I didn't think to change, which I will change after I finish the stream, is if you just click on the word syllabus, I will change it there as well. I didn't think to change it there, which is silly on my part. But I will have that changed as soon as we finish up the live stream. I will switch that over there as well. So you should be able to find it basically anywhere you're looking. And I'll keep posting the updated syllabus in the module for each week. So it should always then be at the top of the page when you're going through the information for the online part of the week. So you can always click on it just in case you need to see, what changes for an assignment or something. Yes, Michelle, I would, if you're using PsycInfo in the library, if you're using it for any psychology class, so for our assignment for sure, but any, I would always start with a gap of 10 years. And then depending on what you see, if you see a ton of results, I would even switch that to a gap of 5 years. If you're seeing not no results for what you're looking for, that's when you can expand it and maybe make it 20 years. It always will depend on what your question is, but 10 years is your best, is the number I would always start at. You're very welcome. Okay, so if you have any questions, I'm here for 35 more minutes with whatever questions you have. But I've now mentioned everything that I knew I wanted to talk about. So if you were just here to see what was going on, you're probably good to go for today. If you have any questions, if you want to talk about anything relating to the world of virus, or if you have questions about assignments, I'm still here for a while. So let's chat. You can always come back also at the later one. I have the other live stream that'll be up at 1:30 that you can uh, come to as well. Step three is based off of pages. I want to say, well, let me check it really quick before I give you that answer. But it's not based off of words; it's based off of pages. I only am going to base the discussion board off of words. Um, I don't ever base a paper off of words. But give me 1 second, and I will let you know. Um, gonna have to get that from here. It's a 3-page paper. That's not including title page, reference page, abstract page. So it's a 3-page body of the paper, other than the other parts of it. So I still want to see a title page, a reference page, an abstract page. I do want to see you citing things in text, but the actual paper, 3 pages. Um, 3 pages double spaced as well. So APA format's always going to be double spaced. And the specifics for the assignment are right in the assignment guidelines. I'll post a video for both the poster and the literature review actual paper. But that I'm not going to get those videos up until towards the end of next week, probably. Those 2 things, since they're at the end of the semester, those will be the last 2 things that I get to. The group discussion for memory is in 2 weeks. So that's the 13th of April. Let me double check the date. The 13th of April to the 17th of April is when it's going to happen. That's the video I'm going to post later today. So make sure you watch that video. And then if you still have questions after that, you can email me. But I think that'll be the focus of the live streams next week. I think we'll be talking about that assignment a lot from there. But the assignment will be April 13th to the 17th. So the memory group will have to submit to me their either PowerPoint or a paper. If you already have been working on the PowerPoint, just submit to me what you've been working on. I know for my 4 intro to psychology classes, of the 8 or 9, I want to say 6, maybe 7 of them already had mentioned to me that they had their discussion, their PowerPoints either done or almost done. If you're one of those groups, you're just going to submit to me, finish up what you're working on and submit that to me. If you haven't, then just write it up as a paper. If you have 5 people in your group, you're basically each writing half of a page towards a paper. So I want a 2 to 3 page paper if I do it that way. And that you're going to give to me on Monday. I'm going to post that on the discussion forum on Monday. That's for all of the rest of the class to make sure they take a look at, review, and everything. And then they're going to answer some questions that you give. The big difference between if we were doing it in the classroom or online, in the classroom, you as a group are going to give me 10 discussion questions. If now that we're doing it online, every individual is going to give me 1. So if you have 5 in your group, you're going to give me 5 total discussion questions, 1 for each person. The PowerPoint or the paper that you're doing as a group still, the answering discussion questions, each individual is going to give me 1, and that individual is going to be responsible for moderating the entirety of that question. So what that means is every person that answers your question, you should be replying back to. Sometimes you're going to reply back and you're going to say, "Oh, that's so interesting. It seems like you have the same opinion as someone else in the class." Sometimes you're going to be like, "That's interesting. It seems like you and this person just completely disagree." Sometimes you're going to say, I think that's a great point. That's something that we had in the PowerPoint. If you take a look at that slide, there's more information about that, so on and so forth. You're just adding something to every person that replies. And all you have to do is that for your forum, for just your forum. I should be more specific, for just your 1 discussion question. The other 4 members of your group, you don't have to do that for. If you wanted to help them, sure, you could. And where that'll come into play is, let's say you have 5 people in your group, and let's say your discussion question was not that popular. Let's say you only had 3 people replying to it, but you had a group member that had 10 people replying. You could help them out because all 10 of those people who replied to that member of your group need a reply. So if you're helping them out, that makes things, that's a good teammate there. But you're only going to be required to do the ones on your forum specifically. And that's how you'll do your group discussion. If you're in the memory group, the other thing you'll still have to do is answer 2 questions on the social group. So you still have to do the other forum, just answering their questions. Not you're answering 2 of their 5 discussion questions. You're only moderating your own discussion question on your forum. So hopefully that was pretty clear, but the video is going to give you more specifics to that. I'm going to definitely go through a little slower on each specific part of the assignment. And what I did on that video too is I spent the first couple minutes for those of you who are not in any of the groups that are going to be presenting. And then I went more specific into the groups that are. So that way, the groups that aren't presenting, you're going to basically be watching a 2, maybe 3-minute video. For the groups that are presenting, you're going to have an 8-minute video that's going to give you that extra 5 minutes of information for what you specifically have to do. like I said, if you guys have any questions, and let's just say you don't have a YouTube account, and usually it's pretty friendly for signing up for the guest account for chatting into this, but sometimes that could be a pain in the butt. Let's say you can't talk in the chat because you just don't have the account and you're just viewing. You can always email me your questions if you have questions. You can send it through Snapchat or something like that. So if you have questions, there's a lot of ways to get them to me, even if you don't have this account for YouTube. But otherwise, if you have questions, let me know. I'm still hanging out here. Otherwise, I will be back at 1:30 for any more questions that we have. I'm sure I'm going to be talking about mostly the same stuff again then. But I'm going to hang out here if you have any questions. I'm not rushing out or anything like that, but I'm going to just be here kind of quiet unless you guys do have questions, because I already spoke about everything that I knew I needed to talk about for this one. Sounds great, Michael. That's perfect. All of these will always be on my YouTube channel. I don't delete them. The only time I delete these or don't upload them to my channel for these live streams is if no one really shows up. If I have more than one question, I'll post it to the YouTube channel. But if I get one question, it's not worth me posting a. If I only get one question, I end the stream early. But it's not worth me posting a 30-minute video for one question. I could just post something specific about it. Stay safe as well, Carmen. Hopefully everybody has lots and lots of fun things that they have at home by now. Hopefully everybody's realized how great Zoom can be for keeping in touch with everyone else in their family too. I see our numbers dipped quite a bit, so I'm still going to hang out here for a little bit. But if I don't get like any new questions in the next couple of minutes, I'll probably end the stream from there. But I'm here if you think of anything for at least the next 5 minutes or so. Right, in the last 3 weeks, I've aged 10 years. It's fun. I actually think it's kind of true. He has so much more gray hair in his beard than I've ever seen before now. Saw a picture of him, and the entirety of right here is gray now. Like it looks kind of like mine, where I have my patch right here. He has all right here, but because my patch is here, it has this here. It looks a lot better on him. Yeah. That has to be fake news, but that's something very interesting. Israel has reported no deaths from COVID-19. They are recommending people to drink hot tea every afternoon with lemon and a baking soda. That has to be fake news. It's just something that someone shared on Facebook, so I couldn't know. US over 1/5 of the cases and only 10% of the deaths. That is about 23% of cases and about 11% of deaths. That's at least that means that we're keeping people alive better than other countries. Obviously, Italy got so overrun. There's some third world countries that have struggled, but
my computer. I know.
maybe you can end this. It's been just me in this room for a while.